Hello, my name is Anna and I'm a student of Curtin University. And before I begin, I would like to show my respect and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, of elders past and present, on which this presentation is received. My project is titled The Digital Scapegoat, Ritualism and Solidarity in an Age of Algorithms and Social Networks. To begin, I came across this description in my research so far and I felt that it sets the direction or motivation for where this project is headed. Rene Girard discovered that the biggest obstacle to peace is not our enemies, but our ability to recognize our own scapegoats. Now, this is a grand statement, but nevertheless an apt account of what motivates this project. So my central research question is as follows. How can the phenomenon of digital scapegoating affect solidarity, and what does this indicate about the future of social network design, digital rituals, and online sociality? At first glance, it's a bit of a mouthful and possibly means something different to each of us. This research joins internet studies, which is generally thought of as an interdisciplinary field, which takes ideas from a number of disciplines and brings them together in an internet context. Over the next few slides, I will give a quick overview of how I plan to approach these terms. So firstly, solidarity is a term often discussed within sociology. One of the key thinkers was Emile Durkheim, who had a real interest in what holds society together. What is the glue that keeps groups strong or weakens their ties? During 19th century France, he had witnessed the shift from pre-industrial life over to a more modern society where he believed industrialization changed solidarity. His work explores substantial shifts in how society deals with its structure, social norms, law, and morality. Which brings me to the second idea of online sociality. In internet studies, we see this term when discussing social networks, how they form and what makes them stick. I've borrowed some diagrams here to give a sense of how we might map out sociality. Drawing on Durkheim's ideas of solidarity, Hampton, who writes on digital communities, here illustrates the social dispersion of pre-industrial sociality. If you can see, these concentric circles show the distribution of weak ties on the outer edge to stronger ties within the centre. Traditional communities tend to be close-knit with fewer connections outside of the centre. This next diagram resembles modern society with much more complexity, focused on higher distribution on the outer circle of weak ties. We see here relationships often fade over time. Hampton's thesis suggests that new communities are actually changing as a result of social network infrastructure, where these fading weak ties are actually staying stronger. And here we begin to see relevance in network design. If Hampton and other key scholars are correct in that digital networks can and are changing sociality, having awareness of this could be key to shaping how our societies evolve in a technologically heavy future. Perhaps a starting point here is understanding the powers that shape the design of these networks. I'm also interested in the relationship between technology and users. Does technology influence our social behaviour or vice versa? Which is where digital rituals become important. Now, you're likely familiar with social media and birthdays, condolences, holiday traditions, and rites. But with the internet only being decades old, we may very much be at the infancy of how rituals will be performed. To begin here, my research will start to look at the function of social rituals in society. One particular social ritual that has begun to appear more salient for me is the idea of scapegoating. I've started to look into one of the main theorists who emphasizes scapegoating as playing a major part in the history of violence and persecution in the world. The late French academic René Girard is revered as a controversial literary scholar and cultural anthropologist. To Girard, scapegoats play a function within a larger context of a dynamic of social imitation. In short, he aimed to trace the origins of much of the world's irrational violence to fit within a model of imitation being key to collective human behaviour. And in the digital world, there is clear evidence of both ritual and social imitation. With Girard having his largest influence through his role at Stanford, right in the heart of the Silicon Valley, his work is beginning to be tied to ideas that explain collective behavior online. What makes the scapegoating mechanism of serious interest is that once we understand it, it seems to be played throughout all ends of the political spectrum and within small and large groups. This theory becomes an approach to understanding the rituals we use to build stronger solidarity in groups, often at the expense of a scapegoat. In this project, digital scapegoating will describe how this mechanism is collectively expressed online, providing a measurable opportunity to see what insights can be found. So, if we revisit the research question here, it's a question that proposes to find the thread that can link each of these complex ideas into a cohesive argument that suggests an interdisciplinary approach to researching technology and society in terms of the function of collective rituals. My research has begun by asking these subsequent questions. How is solidarity strengthened on social networks? How and why have collective rituals been expressed both offline and online? How do algorithms and technical features influence how we collectively interact with others? How significant and useful is scapegoat theory and the idea of digital scapegoating? It is important to note this project is, at very least, ambitious in drawing together strings of somewhat contested theories. Girard's interdisciplinary approach received criticism from many sides. Durkheim's work and functionalist perspectives have also been shown to keep the status quo, neglect certain inequalities, and hold little room for sometimes warranted revolution. I aim to keep my arguments strong, acknowledging relevant criticism and understanding when interdisciplinary work may fall short. So where is this all headed? My optimism lies with the potential of the internet as a tool to reflect our online collective behaviour. With attainable evidence of social movements and discourse more readily available than ever, perhaps it's time when models of online sociality can bring valuable insight into social cohesion. Perhaps it's time for individual self-reflection to be accountable within multiple collectives. Understanding how technology is influencing sociality may be useful for steering how future rituals can be expressed in ways that benefit society. Back to the original quote, I generally hope to use this project to determine just how much truth actually lies in Girard's revelation here. Thank you.